Los Angeles Dodgers fans have been waking up every morning with the same feeling lately. Anticipation mixed with uncertainty. The offseason has dragged on longer than anyone expected, and yet the biggest conversations around the league keep circling back to the same names, the same negotiations, and the same unanswered questions. Even with spring training inching closer, the market for elite talent still feels frozen, and that tension is something you can feel across baseball, especially for teams like the Dodgers that are always hovering around every major move. One of the hottest topics right now is the evolving landscape after recent signings that quietly reshape the market. Every time a major contract is finalized, it sends ripples through front offices across the league. Teams recalibrate, agents adjust expectations, and suddenly players who seemed like long shots become realistic possibilities, while others drift further out of reach. For the Dodgers, this is familiar territory. They are constantly evaluating how one move elsewhere can open or close doors for them, not just financially, but strategically. What stands out this offseason is how controlled everything feels. There is no chaotic bidding war, no rapid-fire signings of superstar after superstar. Instead, it feels like a chess match. Players are holding firm on what they believe they are worth, and teams are refusing to panic. Long-term contracts are the real sticking point. Everyone wants security, everyone wants top dollar, but organizations are more cautious than ever about committing massive years to players who may not age gracefully. That tension is exactly why some of these negotiations have stretched into the heart of winter. From the Dodgers' perspective, patience has always been part of the plan. This is an organization that values flexibility just as much as star power. They understand that one massive contract can define your roster for a decade, for better or worse. That is why every potential move is being weighed not just against the present season, but against multiple future windows of contention. Winning now matters, but sustaining success matters even more. Another layer to all of this is how limited the pool of serious contenders really is. When you strip away the noise, only a handful of teams are realistically positioned to take on contracts of this magnitude while still competing at the highest level. The Dodgers are always mentioned in that group, and for good reason. Their combination of financial strength, player development, and consistent winning makes them an attractive destination for elite talent. But that does not mean they will chase every big name at any cost. The league as a whole seems to be learning from past mistakes. Front offices are more analytical, more risk-aware, and far less emotional. Long gone are the days when teams would throw around massive deals just to make headlines. Now, every dollar and every year has to make sense. For players, that means adjusting expectations or waiting longer for the right offer. For fans, it means a slower offseason filled with speculation and debate. There's also the human side of this waiting game. Players want clarity. They want to know where they will live, who they will play with, and how they will fit into a team's vision. Missing time in spring training is never ideal, and while some veterans can handle a delayed start, it is still far from optimal. Teams know this, and sometimes that pressure becomes a factor as camps draw closer. Whether that leads to sudden movement remains to be seen. For Dodgers fans, the conversation always circles back to one simple question. Does this team need to make another big move to stay on top? The roster is already loaded with talent, but baseball has a way of humbling even the strongest teams. Depth, health, and timing can matter just as much as star power. That is why the front office continues to explore every option, even if nothing feels imminent. What makes this offseason especially fascinating is how interconnected everything is. One signing can instantly change the priorities of multiple teams. A deal that looks reasonable on the surface can suddenly redefine the market for similar players. That domino effect is something the Dodgers are acutely aware of, and it is why they rarely act impulsively. They prefer to let the board settle before making decisive moves. As the days continue to pass, the pressure slowly builds. Fans speculate, insiders debate, and every small update feels magnified. Yet behind the scenes, decisions are being made with extreme care. The Dodgers are not just thinking about opening day. They are thinking about October, about sustainability, and about keeping their championship window wide open for as long as possible. This is the kind of offseason that tests patience, both for fans and for players. But it is also the kind that can set the foundation for something special if handled correctly. Every rumor, every negotiation, and every delay adds another layer to the story that is still unfolding, and the Dodgers remain right at the center of that conversation, waiting for the moment when the pieces finally fall into place. As the offseason continues to stretch on, the feeling around the Dodgers becomes less about urgency and more about calculated patience. This organization has been here before, watching the market stall while fans across the league grow restless. What separates the Dodgers is their ability to stay disciplined when others feel pressure to act. They understand that timing can be just as powerful as money, and sometimes the smartest move is the one you do not rush into. There's also a growing sense that teams are waiting each other out. Front offices are staring across the table, each convinced that the other side will blink first. Players are holding firm on contract length and overall value, while teams are quietly evaluating whether those demands truly align with on-field production over the long term. For a franchise like the Dodgers, that balance is critical. They are not just buying talent, they are investing in stability, chemistry, and future flexibility. Another important factor is how roster construction has evolved. It is no longer about stacking as many stars as possible and hoping everything works. The modern approach values versatility, depth, and the ability to withstand injuries over a long season. The Dodgers have built a reputation for developing internal options that can step up when needed, which gives them leverage in negotiations. They are not desperate, and that reality shapes every conversation they have this winter. The longer this process drags on, the more it highlights how selective the Dodgers truly are. Being linked to every major free agent does not mean they're actively pursuing every one of them. Often, it is about staying informed, understanding the market, and being prepared if conditions suddenly shift. That readiness is what has allowed them to capitalize in the past when opportunities emerged unexpectedly. There's also a psychological element at play. Players know what the Dodgers represent: consistent contention, strong infrastructure, and a culture built around winning are powerful selling points. At the same time, those standards come with expectations. Not every player wants to step into that environment, and not every contract makes sense for a team that already has championship-level aspirations. Fit matters both on the field and in the clubhouse. As spring training draws closer, conversations naturally intensify. Every day that passes narrows the window for players to fully prepare with their new teams. While some veterans are comfortable jumping in late, teams still prefer continuity. That subtle pressure can influence negotiations, even if it never becomes public. The Dodgers are fully aware of this dynamic, and they're willing to let it play out rather than forcing a decision too early. What keeps this situation so intriguing is how quickly things can change. One agreement elsewhere can suddenly unlock movement across the league. A team that felt secure can pivot. A player who seemed untouchable can become available, and the entire narrative shifts overnight. The Dodgers have positioned themselves to react swiftly when that moment arrives, without compromising their long-term vision. Fans may crave clarity, but the front office thrives in uncertainty. They trust their process, their evaluations, and their ability to separate noise from substance. Not every rumor carries weight, and not every reported interest translates into real negotiations. The Dodgers operate with a level of discretion that often leaves people guessing, but history suggests that silence does not equal inactivity. There's also an underlying confidence in what is already in place. The current roster has proven it can compete at the highest level, and internal growth is always part of the plan. Young players are expected to take steps forward, veterans are relied upon for leadership, and the organization believes it can adjust throughout the season if needed. That belief reduces the need for panic moves in January or February. As this chapter of the offseason continues to unfold, the Dodgers remain steady. They are watching, evaluating, and waiting for the right alignment of value and opportunity. Every decision is being made with the understanding that the goal is not just to win games, but to build something that lasts. And while the answers may not come as quickly as fans hope, the story is far from finished, with plenty still developing as the market slowly begins to shift. As the calendar keeps turning, the conversation around the Dodgers starts to take on a slightly different tone. It is no longer just about who might be added, but about how every possible decision fits into a broader competitive timeline. This team is built to contend now, yet it is also structured to avoid the kind of long-term setbacks that have derailed other franchises. That dual focus is what makes every rumor feel important, even when nothing has been finalized. One of the most interesting aspects of this moment is how quietly confident the organization appears. There's no sense of panic leaking out, no indication that the front office feels cornered by the slow-moving market. Instead, there is a belief that leverage often belongs to the team that can afford to wait. The Dodgers have earned that luxury through years of smart planning, consistent success, and an ability to adapt when circumstances change. The league itself seems to be at a crossroads, with teams reassessing what true value looks like. Massive contracts are no longer automatic for elite talent, and that shift is changing the rhythm of free agency. For the Dodgers, this environment plays directly into their strengths. They are comfortable navigating complex negotiations, weighing risk against reward, and walking away if the math does not make sense. There is also a growing understanding that not every offseason needs to be defined by a blockbuster headline. Sometimes the most impactful moves are the ones that go unnoticed at first, the decisions that add balance rather than star power. The Dodgers have consistently shown that they can identify those opportunities, blending high-profile talent with depth pieces that contribute over the long grind of a season. As spring training approaches, attention naturally turns to preparation and readiness. Players want to feel settled, teams want to establish routines, and managers want clarity. While uncertainty can be uncomfortable, it can also create opportunities for those who remain flexible. The Dodgers have positioned themselves to pivot quickly if the market shifts, without sacrificing the foundation they have already built. For fans, the waiting can feel endless, but there's a bigger picture taking shape. Every day brings new context, new possibilities, and new angles to consider. The offseason is not just a pause between seasons, but a strategic phase that could define how a team performs when the games finally matter. In this moment, the Dodgers are doing what they do best, staying measured, trusting their vision, and letting the process unfold. The decisions that come next will not be made out of pressure or impatience, but out of a clear understanding of where this franchise stands and where it wants to go. And as the landscape continues to evolve, the Dodgers remain ready to act when the right opportunity finally presents itself. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through Major League Baseball, whispers are circulating that the Los Angeles Dodgers may have secured one of the most electrifying talents in the sport. Juan Soto, known for his uncanny plate discipline, smooth swing, and uncanny ability to get on base, Soto has long been a nightmare for pitchers across the league. Now, the rumor mill suggests he could be donning Dodger blue, and fans are already imagining the offensive firepower he would bring to Chavez Ravine. Soto's potential arrival is stirring feverish excitement among Dodger supporters and anxiety among opposing pitching staffs. Analysts speculate that pairing him with an already formidable lineup could create one of the most intimidating batting orders in recent memory. The young slugger's approach at the plate is a mix of patience and power, capable of turning a close at-bat into a home run spectacle or a clutch on-base appearance. If the whispers hold true, the Dodgers would not just be adding a player. They would be redefining the way pitchers must plan their outings. Sources close to the organization hint that this could be part of a broader strategy to maintain dominance in the National League. Soto's combination of youth, experience, and a proven track record of success could make him the cornerstone of a team already hungry for championships. Baseball insiders are already theorizing how manager tactics might evolve with Soto in the lineup. We bat third or leadoff. How would his presence impact roster decisions and the development of the next generation of Dodgers stars? While nothing is confirmed, the mere possibility of Soto in Los Angeles has ignited social media and sports talk shows alike. Memes, highlight reels, and endless debates about pitching matchups have flooded the internet, highlighting just how transformative this potential acquisition could be. Opposing teams are reportedly already reconsidering scouting reports and pitch strategies, knowing that facing Soto is anything but ordinary. Whether this speculation turns into reality remains to be seen, but one thing is undeniable. The Dodgers are once again at the center of a baseball storm. Juan Soto, if he indeed arrives, could change the dynamics of the league and cement the Dodgers' reputation as a team willing to make bold, headline-grabbing moves. Until an official announcement is made, fans can only dream and imagine the havoc that Soto would unleash in the batter's box, redefining the terror of pitchers everywhere. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.